Okay, welcome to the first part of 2 videos today for math. So we're going to begin by going over the homework from yesterday as well as how to make edits on SeeSaw onto your earlier submitted work. So I'm just noticing there's a few things that are kind of slipping, and that's making a little bit of effect on some people's overall understanding. So first, we're actually, you know what? First, let's go over SeeSaw, because this is actually related to a task that was a little bit earlier even than yesterday's homework. Okay, so I am going into my Minnie Mouse character's SeeSaw. Okay, now I see, okay, I have this to do. She's kind of behind on some stuff. Okay, but we're going to go over here and look at the inbox, because this is when I've made comments to you. So you're going to click on the inbox and then go to notifications. Okay, so it says here, okay, so I've made a comment on this. Let's see. Okay, so here it says, okay, good. Only the star question needs to be relooked at. Okay, all right. And then number 2. Page number 2, oh, didn't finish it. Okay, so how do we fix this? Okay, we can press on View Original. New. That would take us back to the original one. So if you're going to redo the whole thing, you could do that. But we want to go on to here. So you're going to click into this button, and then you're going to put Edit Item. Okay, like this. It's going to be way easier for you than redoing the entire thing if there's questions that are not quite right. Okay, so I'm just going to show that one more time. Okay, so we go to the inbox, notifications. Okay, so you click on the assignment, and then rather than clicking View Original, you go here, scroll down a little bit, click on these 3 buttons, and then go to where is it? Edit Item. Okay, then it's going to bring you here, and this is, I think, going to be the easiest way to edit. So you're going to click on this, and then we always use our green pen to show edits. So we go like this, and then, okay, I had to fix the star. Oh yes, okay, so I thought that my denominator might have been 10, which is why I did this, but I know I have to have my magic number, which would be times by 2, actually times by 20. So that means I'd have to do 3 times 20, which is 60. Okay, so I'm going to show that this is actually 60%, or sorry, this should be, eraser. Okay, eraser. That I answered the wrong question. I have to do it as a decimal first. Okay, so it should be 0.6. And then this one would be 60%. Okay, so that is how you make edits. Okay, so that one's fine. Then I'm going to go to here, and same thing. Okay, I have to figure out this. Okay, I'm just going to only show you how to do number 5, because I noticed that a lot of people were getting that one wrong. So it says Carter's football team played 10 games this season. They won 20% of their games. How many games did Carter's team lose? Okay, so I'm going to set this up kind of like a ratio with 20 over 100, because they already tell us the percent, and this is how many they won. Okay, so now I'm going to figure out, well, how would I get this? Okay, what would be my magic number to get from 100 to 10? It would be, this time we're not doing multiply, we would be doing divide. So we're going to divide by 10. Means I have to do the same thing to the top as I did to the bottom. So 20 divided by 10 is 2. Okay, so this tells us how many games they only won 20% of their games. Okay, so this tells us that they only won 2 games, but that's not our answer. We have to know how many games they lost. So we'd have to do, well, 10 take away 2 is 8. Okay, so 8 games. I just wanted to explain that to you. This one up here, number 4, is similar. Okay, it's going to be the same way. You have to work backwards. So if you didn't get this one right, please edit it using this tip. Then for this one, okay, students at Mill Middle School held a class election. Alyssa and Megan were the only two candidates running for class president. Megan received 21 votes and Alyssa received 29 votes. What is the percent of votes that Alyssa received? Okay, so we know that Alyssa, which is the numerator, she got 29 votes, but we had to figure out the denominator. So to do that, well, how many votes were cast in total? We would do 21 plus 29 is 50. Okay, 50. There we go. But that's not our answer. You had to figure out what we would do to get the percent. Okay, so you have to do some magic number stuff. Okay, then when you're done, you press this, submit, and that shows your edits directly on the page. Okay, that is exactly what I'm asking you to do, to go back and double check that you have finished all of those edits. Okay, once I can tell that you have 100% on this assignment, then I'm going to send you the unit assignment for, like, rather than doing a unit test, I'm going to send you the unit assignment. Okay, so everyone's going to be getting that at a little bit different rates depending on how you did with this, because I really need to make sure that you understand all of this stuff first. Okay, so that's the first thing for today. The second part of our review is going over your homework. Okay, so we had to place all these things on a number line first of all. Okay, so I've already worked ahead to convert these. So 3/2 is the same as 1 1/2. So that means that that's going to be this. So this I would have as 1, over here I'd have as 2, and then this would be 1 1/2. Okay, so that one hopefully you guys all did very well with. Pretty simple, just in the center there. And it is important to make sure that you also have like your marker so I know exactly what you're talking about on the number line. Then this one, 8/5 converts to 1 3/5, which if we're going to compare that to 1 and 7/10, the denominator is not the same right now. So we have to multiply the denominator by 2, and then we would get 1 6/10. Okay? So on my number line, I would show that like this. I would have 1 here, then I would have 2 over here. This would be halfway, which would be 1 5/10. And then this would be 1 6/10. And then here would be 1 7/10. Okay, so you could even kind of something like this. 1 6/10 would be this one. And then 1 7/10 is the other one. Okay, so that one would be first. And then the next one is 25/8. So we know that 8 goes into 25 3 times, which leaves us with 1/8 left over. And then we have 2 3/4. So my lowest part of the number line is going to be a 2. And then my biggest has to be above the 3. So I'm going to put it as a 4. And that means in the middle of my number line, I would have 3. Okay. So then I have 3 1/8, which I've divided that into 8 parts. That would be probably like right here. And then 2 3/4. Here would be a half, and then here would be 2 3/4. Okay, so you could just even circle those or list them like that. Okay, the next one I'm looking at from what you submitted onto SeeSaw. This one, making the 2 cups of orange juice are mixed with 3 cups of ginger ale. That is one of my favorite drinks. I always order that on the airplane. You should try it next time. It's so good. Okay, so draw a diagram. I said you could skip that one. How much ginger ale is needed for 10 cups of orange juice? Okay, so if we have 2, 2, 3, we're going to keep this as OJ and this as the ginger ale. Okay. So if we had, how much ginger ale is needed for 10 cups of orange juice? So if we had 10 cups of orange juice, what would be the ratio that we need of ginger ale? Okay, well, we know we had to do this times 2. So same thing, what we do to one side, we do, or sorry, times 5. What we do 2 times 5 is 10. So 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, so that's what you should have as your answer, 15. And then how much orange juice is needed for 21 cups of ginger ale? Okay, so if we had 21 over here, cups of ginger ale, then we need to figure out, well, what would be on this side? So how do we get from 3 to 21? We did times by 7, so we have to do the same thing on this side. So 2 times 7 is 14. Okay, So that should be your answer on this one, 14 cups. Okay, this one, number 10. Okay, you had to explain a number of different ratios. So you could have said there's tons and tons that you could have said. You could have said 20 to maybe 5 if that was whole to blue, or you could say 5 to 7, which would be blue to yellow, or you could say 8 to 7, which would be red to yellow, or you could do them all in reversed, or you could say each of them to a whole. So that one, there's tons of different things you could say. Okay, this one, suppose if you doubled the number of each color of buttons, what would the ratio of 40 to 16 represent? Okay, well, we know that we have 20 in total, so this would be doubled, so this would be whole, okay, whole, all the buttons, whole to 16 would be, means we'd have to figure out what would there have been 8 of, because we know we had 20 in the original. So that would be 8 of the reds. So it would be whole amount of buttons to red. Okay? Okay, red. There we go. Then this one I'm looking at based upon your submissions onto SeeSaw. Here I've worked a little bit ahead. Okay, so you had to color a grid of green, yellow, and blue. Red is the rest. So here we have to add them up to figure out what the red is. So 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 7 is 16. Carry the 1. 5, 7. Okay. So then we'd have to have 76 take away from 100, which would be 24. Okay, I knew that quickly because 75 take away 100 is 25. So we each had one more, so we have to give one less. So this would be it. What percent of the grid is red? So 24%. This one is really similar to the question that we had on the test the other day on the morning maths. So if we had 23 out of 25 this person got, we have to convert this to a percent. Our magic number is times 4. So that means we're doing 23 times 4. Oops. 23 times 4. Okay. So we'd have 3 times 4 would be 12. Carry the 1, and then we would have 9. Okay, so 92%. So I don't know what I just said here. Okay, whose mark is greater? So Connor did better because he got 92%, whereas Rose only got 88%. Okay, so hopefully you did well on that part. I do not know what I did here. And the next part of the lesson you can watch, assuming that you have finished all of your edits for this. Okay? Yeah, that's what I'll be looking for before I send you on your way with the project. Okay, so that's it. Stay tuned.